All right, welcome back to BFFs, Beer Friends Forever. I have my good friend Jen Dumas about to. Jen, I don't know if you want to introduce this beer real quick, but I think you can if you want. But it's a fun one, and I've been saving it for you specifically. So
Thanks.
this one, I have not let anybody pick this one, and I think how long we've been talking about doing this episode? Probably,
Almost a year now.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of ooh, almost spoiled it. But yeah, it's super special. Jen, we'll get into more about like how we know each other and whatever, but yeah, introduce this beer for our friends on the
Uh,
internet.
so my beer friend forever is always given away by the little orange slice here, which I like had to prepare because literally this is part of like what makes it so good. But Blue Moon.
Yeah, Blue Moon.
Yep.
A
Yep.
Blue Moon Belgian white. It's a Belgian style wheat ale for anybody who's I don't know anybody who hasn't had a Blue Moon before. It's a lot of people's intro into beers because it
Mm-hmm.
has that it's so basically it's a wheat beer brewed with Valencia orange peel for subtle sweetness and bright citrus aroma, it says, and I would agree. So
Yeah, and there's like a little bit of cardamom in there or something. There's some kind of spice as well. That's wonderful.
yeah, oh this is a coriander.
Coriander. Okay,
Coriander.
there we go.
So it's basically like I don't know, a cold version of what are those what's that drink around the holidays where you throw a whole bunch of shit in there and it's like you
Wassail.
brew huh?
Wassail?
I don't know what wassail
Like,
is, but that sounds
oh,
fun.
well, that's like a brewed wine. Like
Yeah,
you stew it with spices
that's what I'm
at the
thinking of.
holiday. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so 5.4 ABV, available year round. This is
Hmm.
come from the Blue Moon Brewing Company. If you want to check them out, they have this. They have Blue Moon Light Sky Tropical Wheat, Blue Moon Light Sky Citrus Wheat, and Blue Moon Moon Haze, which I personally is my favorite of these selections. But what's why Blue Moon, Jen?
So I guess it for me it feels like a story of like my relationship with beer. Because when I was very young, my uncle let me sip a bit of his beer. He lived in Germany. It was very dark and disgusting. So from that moment on, I was like, no, thank you. So when I got to college, I wasn't drinking beer. The bar I hung out with was like a Black Horse pub and brewery. So like it's a
Hmm.
brewery. It like has legit amazing beer. But
Yeah.
I was just like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna drink my apple teeny. I was just like, mm-mm. And so the bar that was down the street back then was called the Front Page Deli. And the bartender there, we would go down there to listen to bluegrass nights, and it was always wonderful and great. And anyway, the guy who was the bartender there at the time, which is now like, a friend of mine that's off working at the Food Network, but Sean was like, hey, let me just give you this beer. I think you'll like it. And he like gave it to me with a little orange slice. And I and it just felt so like fancy. And I was like, well, okay. And then it's like I loved it. And so then it was just like, okay, so then when I went anywhere, this is what I was drinking. And
Hmm.
then I slowly then started drinking beer down at the Black Horse. And then now I've become the beer snob that I am today. But this this beer is what brought me to this moment. So yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Mhm.
I heard a thing about this particular beer back in a while ago. Apparently they used to bring oranges on like the sales pitch and like cut them and put them in there and like so that they could try to sell this to people because it's not like a thing that people were really drinking at the time when it came out.
Mm-mm.
So, and it even says on here, I think like, yeah, established 95. So in Colorado.
Yeah. And this was like 2002 when I had it for the first time. So
Hmm.
it was still really new,
Hmm.
but yeah.
It's
I
very,
just remember never having seen an orange showed up and And then the sweetness of it, I was like, "Ooh, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that a beer could be sweet." And so, yeah.
Yeah. And now you got all these super random sours and random
Mm-hmm.
shit people can buy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm glad you picked this one, honestly. Because like the last BFFs we did with our friend Jesse, he
Uh-huh.
he was like, "Hey, we're gonna drink PBR," and I was like, "Awesome!" Like, rad, you know.
Yay. Yeah.
But on I've talked about it a bunch of times on um recent Quick Sixer stuff. That I'm on this path to 1,000, so 1,000 different beers checked in on Untapped, and I was amazed that I had not checked in PBR out of 900 something like different beers. I'd avoided it. I'm pretty
Um,
positive I've checked this in, but
mhm.
we'll see. We'll see.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Hmm.
PBR gives me a headache, and I know it's very fashionable these days. Oops.
Mm, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's fashionable these days,
Yeah.
but it's not for me.
No, no, no. If this is what got you into it, that is not for you. You have surpassed that. Like
Yeah.
just from the start.
Hmm.
But anyways, so um, do you think since this is like the one that got you into drinking beers anyways, do do you prefer it a certain way? Do you always have to have it with the orange or
I mean, honestly, I'll drink it just out of the can. I decided to do it with the orange because when I was checking out last night with the beer, the lady that was checking me out, like I'd picked up an orange just in case, but she literally was like, oh, "Blue Moon, oh, you've got your oranges right," and she had bright red lipstick on. I swear we were the same age, and there was just like this moment where I was like, "All right, that's yeah, I'm doing it." Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
We're going there. I'm
that's
gonna go get
awesome.
my glass out.
That's
Hmm.
super cool. So
Yeah.
do you think you've since like this is the one that like the starting point, have you kind of leaned more into like white like Belgian white beers or a certain
I
like a
did when
wheat?
I did when I first started. That's kind of the direction I went. You know, the Black Horse had a vanilla that they did, and they did like
Hmm.
a black and tan that had this splash of stout, but it tasted like chocolate milk. So like
Hmm.
it was great. So
Yeah.
that was kind of my two beers. So and then from there it's I there was some the Flying Saucer had a ton of options, right?
Yeah.
And so I whenever I would go there, I would just kind of zero in on the wheats and then I would
Hmm.
just kind of order down the wheats. So yeah, it took me a while to kind of evolve out of that category
Yeah.
into different ones. I think the next thing was like Pilsners, and then I went to Reds. And
Okay. Okay.
lately, because I've been working at a studio that's next door to Sweetwater Brewing Company, I have spent an enormous amount of time drinking
Sweetwater.
IPAs.
Well, Sweetwater, yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Sweetwater.
Well, and I had forgotten how nice it is when you actually go to a brewery on a regular basis because, like, how
Hmm.
fresh the board is always changing with
Yeah.
new and experimental things. So that kind of makes it fun.
Yeah. 100%.
Mhm.
I got that that feeling the other night. We went for I don't know if you know this, but Bearded Iris has in their new tap room in Sylvan Park. They
Oh,
have
I haven't
a
been there yet.
dude. It's awesome. You'd love it. It's got like red
It's in
velvet
Sylvan Park?
couches and shit. Yeah, it's bad.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, they call it Sylvan Supply, so it's like right outside of Sylvan Park. But it's
Okay.
they got it's this whole thing. It's right near shit. I don't even know what to say. It's like it's right there. You'll see it if you just
Mm-hmm.
look it up. But anyways, you love their new shit. Like they have these like rounded like velvet couches inside, or like like little booths or whatever. Super
Mm-hmm.
cool. Like the vibe is super chill. Outside has a nice patio, and they have a thing. They partnered with Black Dynasty Ramen, so you can like you get to a table, right? and then there's like a little placard with a QR code on it, and you can like order ramen, and there's no server or nothing. They just like bring it to you, drop it off, and that's it. Like it's like a secret type of situation. But I was like,
I
man,
love it.
it was great. But
I love it.
when we were there, I was like, man, fuck, I would spend so much money if we lived right here. Like it'd be bad.
I remember when Bearded Iris opened, I actually like went pretty soon after they first opened, and then I went to their 1 year anniversary, and I was like,
Hmm.
so it was a very fun party. And then recently in Atlanta, I was at my neighborhood beer store, and I saw Bearded Iris was like offered there, and I was like so proud. I was like, oh, look at you guys go!
I
You're
know it.
already out there doing the thing.
It's so
Actually, when
cool.
I was checking out at Publix, the guy had a baseball cap that had the Bearded Iris. Now that if their latest poorhouse is here so close, then
Hmm.
probably he actually was Bearded Iris. But
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't know.
probably. Yeah, it's dude,
Thought
it's
they
so
were still
sick.
over in Germantown. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
it's. I think I prefer it over the Germantown one now. I like the
Mm-hmm.
Germantown one, but this one is like, I don't know. She's got a good vibe on it.
It sounds cozy. The Germantown one
Yeah,
was like, we're legit brewing beer and we're going to put a
yeah,
couple of nice tables and a beautiful chandelier because
hmm,
we want you here, but we're brewing beer.
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. This is like a
Mm-hmm.
smaller version, I guess, but it's still cool. But
That's awesome.
hmm. So, man. So I guess going back to it, so did you ever have you gotten to the point where you've had the dark beers like your uncle?
Yeah, now I like all of it. I mean, give me the sours, give me the bitters, give me the saisons, like
Yeah.
the IPAs and double IPAs. Now,
Ooh.
sometimes I do admit double IPAs get into the category where it might taste too much like grass for me, and I'm just a little like I'm like, guys, did we taste this before we put it out? I don't know. I do have a question,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I, but yeah, no, I like it all now. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So this I like that you picked this as the starting point, but like what would you pick as like I don't know, like a your favorite at the moment? Like your favorite beer at the moment. Or
Oh,
even
it's
like
gonna
favorite
sound.
place, you know? Like
I was about
you
to say it's gonna sound like I'm still like fruity because I have like that. I have purple haze in there, so it's like a raspberry beer. So it's
Mhm.
so it's also light and fruity, but
Yeah.
it's hot.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't be drinking too heavy on when it's super hot out.
It's so hot, yeah. But like I said, uh, been working next door to Sweetwater. So every Friday we've been going down there and having a happy hour on Friday. And so they made this one that was called Glacial. When they first did their first round of it, that stuff came out at like 10%. And it literally, and it's so smooth and so good and absolutely will slay you. They then
Yeah.
had to go back and recalibrate it. And now what they have out is a normal 5%, but it's still
Jesus.
really good.
Yeah. That
Hmm.
sounds that sounds dope. Like talking about high percentage. Like every year when Bearded Iris puts out their triple home style,
Uh-huh.
I just wait for it. I'm just like, man, like I know I'm gonna bring some of this home and it's a 10% beer, but it's like you kind of gotta like pick and choose when you're about to drink those kind of beers.
Yes.
You're like I like after these blue moons, like I still have shit to do today, like but
Right.
like
Yeah.
if I pull one of those out of the
That's
fridge, it's
fun.
like, all right, this is what I'm
It's
doing.
over. Hmm. It's all over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've been trying to like hit all the things on the board. So we've been like working our way down it. And then it
Hmm.
just so happened that Glacial was so delicious. And I was like, oh, we'll do another round of that because it'll be fine. Yeah.
Done. Dead.
No.
That was
Yeah.
it for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Done
Oh,
tease.
that's so
So,
crazy. So,
mm-hmm.
fun story about
Yeah.
yeah. Well, not really. It's not too fun, but it's interesting. So, anyway, so we met what in 2017. Okay.
Yeah.
And so 6 years ago. Holy shit. Almost.
Yeah.
almost. I keep thinking it's like, dude, my years and my months and shit are getting really bad right now. Like I keep thinking like, oh yeah, it's like this year. No. Anyway, so we met in 2018, 2017, 2017. I said,
17, 17, 16, somewhere in that ballpark.
yeah, yeah.
It had to
No,
be
no,
17.
it had to be
Yeah.
17, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it did.
yeah, 17 because it was cold. Anyways, fun thing, fun fact. So, as you've been talking about, you work on TV shows and movies and whatnot, and that's what I used to do. So, fun fact, I move here and I'm like, man, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do because Meg had a job, and I was like, oh, whatever. And this I'm only bringing this up because I heard somebody talk about um they've only gotten jobs, like they're actually, well, their whole like professional career they've gotten like jobs from the apply within like section of LinkedIn. Like you can just apply on
Oh,
LinkedIn. And I was like, that never happens. Like, what are you talking about?
I, yeah, I recently was introduced to how important is to the rest of the world. I was just
Yeah,
like, oh,
right.
really? That's so
Like
crazy. I had
it's
no
so,
idea.
me either. I was like, oh wow, okay.
Mm-mm.
But so there is a site that a lot of people use called Staff Me Up, which I don't know.
Hmm.
We're about to talk about. So on Staff Me Up, when I was living in LA, I literally never even got a phone call from anybody from applying on there ever, like ever, ever. And I was like, all right, fuck it, like I'll give it a shot here, like we'll see what happens. And then I think you called the next day and we're like, hey, can you come in for an interview? I was like, what the like I was so confused like that it actually worked because this whole time I'm like, people are just dumping their info into this thing and no one's getting jobs from
Yeah,
this,
no.
but
It
it
was
worked.
really early on with that one.
Yeah,
And well, for us, like, so Nashville is such a small film community, like, and everybody for the most part is very motivated to be in the creative sphere of it. So when you say, hey, you want to come do accounting or do the business side of it, people are not super jazzed about it. Like it's not something that's very easy to kind of bring people on board. So I do remember just kind of as a Hail Mary pass, just being like, let's just apply on this thing and let's see what happens.
hmm
And then your resume came in and we were like, oh shit, it worked. Like this guy actually has credits.
yeah.
So we were like, oh, well, we better call him because holy crap, like, it
Well,
actually happened.
I was so pumped. I was like, holy shit. Like, I was telling Meg, I was like, I can't believe this actually worked. Like, it has never, ever worked, like, for me, ever.
I don't even know that I've used it again.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
Like, who
I'll be honest.
it's so weird. But, anyways, so
Hmm.
we ended up working on what ended up being what we didn't know at the time, I guess, but the final season of Nashville in an
Hmm.
accounting world, which was super fun. I think we have
It
some
was
dope.
very fun.
Yeah. Mm.
I was really happy by the time we got to season 5 and season 6, like that show had just hit its stride and we like knew what we were doing and we were floating along.
Yeah.
Like it was, and our team was like, we had gelled. You were like the perfect addition because previous to that, we'd had a lot of different people that were trying out accounting
Mm.
as just a curiosity or as a stepping stone. And so it was just like this kind of revolving door. So it was really nice to like have someone come in that knew what they were doing. We could kind of
Yeah.
just relax.
It was
Like,
super weird for me going in because it was like the only accounting job I'd done was so random, and it was with my friend like 2 or 3 years I think before Nashville, and it was a Germany's Next Top Model, and I was like, all right, this is
hmm.
random as fuck, but hopefully it translates to whatever this job is gonna be. So, but it did. So that worked. But I was like
Hmm.
super fucking nervous to like walk in that door and be like, all right, cool. I'm accounting now. I do counting. So
I mean,
terrified, terrified.
yeah, it's all
But it was
about
fun.
being organized. Yeah. It's like, are you organized? Great. Awesome.
And that's all it really takes. I honestly like for at least that
Hmm.
job that I was in.
Yeah.
But So since then though, like what have what is you're about to move to Atlanta, which is sad
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
everyone, but I don't know, you still having fun with it? Like I like to talk to
Yeah.
people that like have done production because sometimes people just fall out of the fun of it, I think, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm still having fun with it. It's definitely um it definitely has its challenges, right? But
Yeah.
I think it's been kind of interesting, this whole kind of pandemic mindset that's come out where everybody's kind of trying to figure out how to do a work-life balance.
Hmm.
There's been an energy shift that I think is actually like much needed in a way. Like
Mm,
it's kind of hard to define, but you can feel it. And
mm,
that part has been really exciting for me because trying to like keep yourself as a completely like whole and balanced person in our industry sometimes can be difficult because you can
oh
be
yeah.
very, very focused on work, and
Hmm.
there's enough work that you can absolutely disappear into it and have
Yeah.
plenty to do, you
Yeah.
know? So,
100%.
so it's been interesting. It's like an interesting time right now in the
Hmm.
industry, but it's been good. I'm
Hmm.
still having a good time. I'm working with some amazing people. Kind of just by surprise, I ended up having a group of people that I was working on this last project that ended up being available at the end of it. So they were able to come with me to this next project, which was like a surprise and awesome.
Hmm.
So it's really, and they're really fun and like a laid back group of folks. And I think that
Nice.
makes all the difference, you
Oh
know?
man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Specific, I mean, yeah, I think specifically in the accounting world too, like it's not like, you're out in the field and like stuff out there is like getting you stressed out. It can be like stuff that's, you're all in the same room or close to each other at least and like
Mm-hmm.
knowing what's stressing each other out. That's kind of there's no like room to get it out, like get the energy out. It's all just trapped. So if you have a good
Mm-hmm.
crew, then it really helps, I think.
It does. It absolutely does. Makes all the difference. And yeah. So I think it's still having fun.
Hmm.
I think it's good.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I keep hearing people talk about how it's a lot of people have like kind of reevaluated how much time somebody should be working a day, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely um what's the word I'm looking for? But like the sometimes some jobs don't need to be on site, so you can be remote, and like
Mm-hmm.
the acceptance of that is kind of interesting now. But it's like 5 years ago that was not
Oh,
happening. You know,
absolutely unheard of. But also, our technology was not there. Like they
no,
had been working on trying to come up with like digital purchase orders and trying to figure out how to handle, wireless payments in a way that was reasonable. But then when the pandemic came, and then we got through about 6 months of no production, and then it kind of came up to the point where we had to start producing if we wanted fresh content.
yeah,
And then I mean, those the computer programmers over at EP and cast and crew, and I mean globally, really, because like
yeah,
cast and crew's PO system, DPO is British. Like everybody went in there and we're like, how do we figure this out? And
hmm,
so it was glitchy at first, and I would say it's still a little glitchy. It's still really slow
yeah,
sometimes. Like that, the it takes a lot more time now to do what we were doing before with paper. However, it's now made it where there's a lot of flexibility.
hmm,
You can kind of decide how you want to deliver the system. And
hmm.
talk about research becoming easy. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. You can just find everything,
Yeah.
which I love.
All right.
Hmm.
That's what's up. So my next job, when are we no, I'm just kidding.
Oh well, I need a. I mean, I need a clerk. So anyway,
Shit, a side
um,
clerk on the
ooh.
side. That'd be fun.
Yeah, well, and there's no payroll accountant. So if you have any inclination whatsoever, that's a name your price world right now.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Tempting me, Jen. Can't be doing
Yeah.
that. Can't be doing
Just
that to
telling
me
you.
right now. Mm.
Fun team over here.
I know it. Oh, fuck. That is super
Yeah.
tempting. God damn it. uh Man, you just threw me. I did not expect you to say that. You just
Sorry.
threw me
Yeah.
off. That's all good. I'm like running the numbers, man. I'm like, can this fucking work? But anyway, think
There's
about that
always other
later.
shows. You have
I'll think about
plenty
that
of time to
later.
think about it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's super cool though. Shit.
Hmm.
I don't even know. Like, how many of these you think you're gonna crush during this? Just the one?
Well, I've I kind of started on one right before we started the call. So, like, I might already be like one and some change in.
There you go. There you go.
Hmm.
Oh, here's a
Hmm.
question. Are
Hmm.
you are you a orange in the glass, or are you a orange like it gets served and you put it to the side after?
I usually eat it.
Oh, there you go. Okay. This is the
I
third option.
usually,
That's the third option for
yeah,
sure.
I usually eat it. It's like, I mean, I could see putting it in there, but I don't know. Oranges are delicious. It's not like a lemon that's, you
Yeah.
don't really want to eat. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of lemon, this I just made me think of it, but on the Blue Moon website, it gives food pairing options for
okay.
Blue Moons, and you saying lemon just made me think of it because it says seafood such as grilled shrimp, Asian
Mm.
dishes like pad thai, and marinated chicken dishes. All things I think you could throw lemon on.
Yeah.
but but
I feel like pad thai would be too much of the same
mm,
feeling.
yeah,
I feel like that would be too similar.
yeah,
I do
and
think the
pad,
fish would be good,
yeah,
but not pad thai. Shrimp,
yeah,
definitely.
definitely, definitely some spims. Um, yeah, they always throw that orange with pad thai too, like on the side. So I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's definitely has like some kind. I don't know. If I picture pad thai in my head, it always has like some kind of orange or
Yeah, in my head, it's
citrus.
a lime, like a little
Yeah,
green lime, with the
yeah,
bean sprouts. Hmm.
yeah, 100%. Man, I'm about to get some pad thai, I think. But
I ordered pad thai the other day and I was just so disappointed. So I've got to try again with maybe a different restaurant.
that keeps happening to us too. Like, I'm like
Yeah.
have it, and I'm like, I don't know what it is, but like I'll pick it like at a certain heat, and then like sometimes it's just like not it's hot, or maybe it's too hot. It's never the right hot that I want.
Hmm.
And then like it's either it's just not what I want. It's not like the thing I'm
Right.
expecting, but I don't know.
Yeah. There used to be this very divey Thai restaurant in Clarksville when I was in college that we would go down to. And that pad Thai is still kind of in my head as like what pad Thai is supposed to taste like. So it's like I keep
Mm-hmm.
looking for that experience again because the noodles were always like perfectly
Mm-hmm.
like everybody, all the noodles lived on their own. They weren't stuck
Yeah.
together. There was perfect amount of bean sprouts, perfect amount of chicken, perfect amount of shrimp. But yeah, just haven't really quite run into that again. It's
Yeah.
a tough one. Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Hey, so Blue Moon being your intro, have you met anybody or introduced them to Blue Moon when they didn't have it before?
That's an interesting question. I feel like everybody was so much earlier to the beer game than I was that I felt like I kind of feel like
No.
I don't know that I necessarily introduced anybody
Mm,
I always like had it around like if I was bringing beer, that's what I was bringing. But I think mostly and this I feel like mostly all of the like the girls were excited that I had brought it. They're like, "Oh, this is nice. Thanks. I'm so glad this is here."
yeah.
It's
It,
like a break from all the Millers and the Coors and the
uh,
Budweisers and the
yeah.
stouts and the
All of
heavy,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
I
the
saw
heavy stuff.
I saw we're in the store yesterday, and I saw it. Speaking of Budweiser's, I saw that they're making Budweiser 8-ounce cans in the 12 pack now. Like, like the little Coke cans like you can buy at the store, like the
Yeah,
little, like,
yeah.
kind of like that, only a little bit bigger. So 8 ounces, and like the whole box is like this big.
But
I was
why?
I don't know. I was like, I was like, that's a thing. I almost bought it just cause. Like, I'm like, I might just buy this. I don't know. But saw
Huh.
that, and you can buy like the mini bottles for, like they're putting like Corona Ritas or something. You can buy
Oh.
the mini Corona ones, and you can buy
Hmm.
mini Bud Light ones. Oh,
Why? Like,
I
what's
don't
the
know.
point?
I really don't know. I'm like, what is?
Like, are they trying to like remind us of what a serving is?
I maybe like, are we too American? We just kept going up. They're like, let's
We're
go
just like,
down.
we're gonna have like, well, because I don't know if you've like, there's this wine bar that's next to my apartment in Atlanta. And the first time I went in there and they served me a portion of wine, I remember just being like, uh, did, did something might be wrong. And then they were like, no, that's your pour. They're like, would you like a larger pour? And then I saw on the menu where it had like, you can get the American, it doesn't say American, but
Ah,
obviously the
yeah,
larger
the
pour.
American poor.
And it just kind of made me laugh a little bit because I was just like, wow, okay, this is a serving of wine.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
I
obviously not drinking this right. Yeah.
right. I've every time Meg's like, "Hey, can you grab me a glass of wine," I always fuck it up. Like I'm like, "Sure," because I'm pouring it like it's a beer. So like her fucking wine
Hmm.
glass will have like, you know, like way too much. She
Full to
started
the
saying,
top.
yeah, she started saying like, "Give me a normal pour, not a pat pour," and I'm like, but you want a pat pour on this thing. Like, let's skip the second.
Slow and steady wins the race with wine. You got to give it
Yeah,
room to breathe.
that's true. That's true. But like, if you're on a
Yeah.
mission, you just gotta get straight to that
Well,
mission.
that's true. And I have to say, with champagne, that's one that you can't just open
Hmm.
and then have it linger. I've been kind of happy when that I've started seeing them have smaller champagne bottles because
Yeah.
honestly, if a champagne bottle is opened, I will make sure that it's finished. And
There's
that
a
could be trouble.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, there's been a trend with like these beers that are I don't know, maybe it's a trend, but I've definitely noticed it where it'll be like almost a fruitier kind of beer, right? But
Hmm.
it's over carbonated like wine or like champagne.
Okay, yeah.
Have you had anything like this yet?
Okay, so the unicorn farts or unicorn, what is that one?
The
So yes,
unicorn,
the
yeah.
answer is yes. But
Yeah.
the one that I had it that did it was it's like uniform farts or sparkle. I don't know. So the beer itself is it's kind of actually very similar in color to this,
Hmm.
but then it has sparkles in it. So then it's
Hmm.
overcarbonated. So as the bubbles are all just going crazy, like it keeps the sparkles swirling.
Yeah.
The
I
it
know what
was
you're talking about. I've seen that one. I've seen it. I just haven't
mhm,
had it yet.
mhm. Yeah, no, it was good. It definitely has a little bit of a sludge at the bottom, so of all the confetti that falls to the bottom that
Oh
you don't get
God.
to, but
Ugh. Oh God. It's like,
but
ugh. Okay.
it was a fine tasting beer.
That's
Um,
that's good.
but it was almost more for the hilarity of it. I just was like, I'm gonna have to get this beer and I'm gonna
Hmm.
have to laugh at this unicorn farts that I'm about to drink. And the sparkles were beautiful and it was like poolside. And I do have to say, I really enjoyed myself.
Right? A poolside beer hits different for sure.
It does. Hmm.
Uh, Honestly, I'm glad you've tried it because like I feel like when we first met, you and B would talk about champagne a lot, and I'm like, when I started having those things like pop up randomly and my
Hmm.
quest to 1,000, it was like I'm not a huge fan of them because I'm like, ugh, like they drink they drink like champagne,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
like I'm sipping them like it's beer, so it's like I'll take like a bigger than I probably would champagne sip. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
So you just
Yeah.
have your fucking throat going wild with all these like bubbles. I'm like, God damn it! Like, what is happening here? And then you're like, you can like feel your body expand from like the bubbles. You're like, fuck
Uh-huh.
this. Like, oh, what am I doing?
Yeah, it is pretty
Oh,
intense.
It's
I think when you came around, B and I were like I we were doing the bubbles
mhm.
from Brian,
Yeah,
the one that, yeah,
the pink
we
can.
were drinking
Yeah.
a lot of that at that time.
Yeah.
Lord, that stuff was good.
Yeah.
Is good. But yeah, whew,
Yeah. Those
that was one that talk about poolside. We had a day that we got a bunch of that and set poolside and floated around on floaties, and like the whole day went by and we were just like, wow. It was excellent.
That's amazing. Yeah, the boat I
Hmm.
think that might have been I don't know, maybe the first time I remember feeling like the like a bubbly beer. Like it was really weird. I don't know.
Hmm.
This brewery we went to a few times in LA called McLeod. They do cask beer, so it's not carbonated at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's like,
That's a little it's a little rough. I've only had that in Peru. And so that definitely was enough for me to be like, I'm good on this
yeah,
forever.
yeah. It's like
But
not cold,
mm,
not carbonated. You're like, what? And like, there's a certain point where you're thinking to yourself, like, is this safe to like drink this? But like,
I 100%, yeah. And I, because it was Peru, that was my head. I was just like, I don't think this is safe at all. But I was just like, I can't be rude, so I'm gonna drink this
yeah,
to honor my host. But oh, this is
yeah, yeah. Definitely like, and
bad.
it'll hit you with that quick fade too. I'm like, oh my god, like,
Mm-mm.
man, it's an experience. I suggest go check
Mm-mm.
out McLeod if you're in Van Nuys. They're super
Okay.
good. Yeah. Uh, man. So, what was the brewery you said you're living near right now in Atlanta?
Sweetwater.
Sweetwater. What's
Hmm.
just give them a quick shout out. Like, what's the beer when you get there? What this week, next week? What's the first one you're gonna grab from Sweetwater? Not the 420 probably, but
Well,
maybe.
so I've actually gotten to the point where I have such an affinity for so many of the ones that they do.
Hmm.
Like Broken Coast is like definitely a go-to. It's just like if if anything experimental is off the board, I'm like, okay, Broken Coast. It's like you can always go to it. It's always good.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the one. The last time I was there, they had Molly's Choice or Maggie's Choice, and like
Mm.
that was good. That was like incredibly good. Glacier's my other favorite, and then they have this stout that's very good. I forget what it's called though. It was supposed to be seasonal, but it's still been here all summer, and it's
Yeah,
very good.
that's nice. I don't think I've had a
Yeah,
stout from them from Sweetwater before.
it's really good. They have two different stouts that they usually do. One's kind of spicy and has like a little bit more of like a kind of a
Mm,
Christmas feel to it, and the other one's a
nice.
little bit kind of milkier, a little bit, smoother, which is nice.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Mulled
they
wine
were
was what I
good.
was thinking about earlier.
Hmm. Mulled wine and wassail. Those are
Yeah.
kind of the,
Are they the
yeah,
same thing?
I think so.
Okay. Muscle.
Yeah.
I've never heard that word before. Is it a
I think
southern
that's
thing or is it?
German.
Oh, okay. That sounds
I
German. It
think
sounds
so.
German.
Yeah, that's what my great grandparents used to call it. So that's kind of what I have in the back
So
because we make it at Christmas. We have like this little serving set that like has like a silver handle on this glass thing that sits over a little candle. And
yeah.
you like pour the wine in and you do like the cinnamon sticks and the
Oh,
cloves
cool.
and stuff. And you let it
Yeah.
heat up and brew.
All
I
right.
don't know.
Shout out to Wussel. Uh,
Yeah.
we do. We found we have this small crock pot. It's like an old one. It's like kind of skinny, it's like
Mhm.
whatever. It's tall but skinny. We usually use that one for like some kind of once a year we'll try like let's do some old wine or something. And it makes your house
Yeah.
smell amazing. But it's
It does. It's like festivities and
oh
just the
yeah.
smell.
It's great. But it's also like you really got to be in the mood for that shit because it's like it's its own thing, like it doesn't taste
I
like
think it
anything else.
And I think it steams off all the stuff that's not alcoholic. So it's just like, I don't know, I could be
Yeah.
wrong about that, but it definitely feels like it's heavy.
Yeah, it doesn't feel light, that's for sure. It feels like it like enhances
Mm-mm.
the booze. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how that would happen, but
I don't either.
I
But
don't
it
know.
does feel that way for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man. So I'm trying to think about what else we can talk about Blue Moon. It's definitely a I don't know. It's if I'm gonna find something in the store and like buy something for like a like what you're saying, like a hot afternoon or whatever, Blue Moon's a
Yeah,
good choice, I think.
like floating the river, if I can get a blue moon, like that's what I'm going to choose because it's just it's so light and citrusy and delicious and nothing better on a hot day than that. And then I don't know. And then I also like for me it does bring back such clear memories of like bluegrass nights. So like I think of like, mandolin playing and banjo picking and like
Hmm.
so it kind of has that kind of nostalgic feel for me because that's
Hmm.
where I would be drinking it was, at the bluegrass nights.
Yeah.
Um, so that's always kind of a fun. I don't know. It's just it's so and it goes with everything. It's not heavy. It's not
Hmm.
overwhelming. Almost everybody drinks it
Yeah.
until the IPA thing came along when everybody like got to the whole point where they were all like trying to like I don't know. I don't want to think it was machismo, but it almost seems
Oh,
like
it
there was a
is.
moment where everybody was trying to be like, well, have you tried this one or that one?
Yeah.
And then they were like, you're drinking Blue Moon? That's so light. And it's just like, or so sweet. And just like, okay, well, I mean, yeah. I'm trying to have a
Yeah.
good time. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like that. Like people, yeah, they when the IPA craze happened and it's still happening.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, actually, I've seen a lot of people really pushing lagers and like pilsners lately, but they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we should do like a traditional pilsner or lager or whatever. But I'm like, okay, that's cool, but like you're still got like 100 hundreds of IPAs being made a day. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Good majority of them not great, but
I would agree with that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a good majority. Most, I'd say, I rate the bearded iris ones pretty high as far as like just in general. But
I feel like Bearded Iris does a good job of being the machismo IPA that everyone's looking for, but also being delicious.
yeah,
So I have to give them credit for that. Like,
hmm I
because
think
it is, I have had one of theirs once where it was like a little too put hair on your chest experience. I
yeah,
was like, okay, this is too far for me, but they do a good job.
yeah. I think it's kind of funny that this is the one you pick because like I feel like their home style is so much like a like citrusy, I don't know, like a Belgian wheat beer, but it's not, which is like
Hmm.
it's very interesting.
Oh, so it's not because it's a Belgian style? Is that what makes it different?
What? Which
What's
one?
So you're saying it? Oh, is the bearded iris like a Belgian white? Is
No,
that what you're
no, the
saying?
bearded
No,
iris. No, no. The
no,
thing I'm
that's
saying is
IPA
like
talking about.
it's so interesting that like the flavor in this, like the orange peel and coriander, is so. I can see why you would like a home style from bearded iris.
Mm.
Like it would be a good
Hmm.
if you were about to like tell somebody like, hey, why don't you try IPAs now? If they were drinking this, I think that would be a good first step for
An
anybody.
easy
Like,
transition.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Even
Mm-hmm.
like I like the smokiness of like the color, like how it has that kind of like haziness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really enjoy most beers that have a little bit of a haziness to it for some reason. Like that's
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, that's definitely my shit for sure. You should definitely try the Moon Haze then, if you can find it.
all right.
It
Yeah.
comes in it's like well, I don't think I've seen it in bottles, but it definitely comes in cans. It's almost the same ABV as this. So this one's 5.4 and this Moon Haze is 5.7. But it comes in like a yellow and like dark blue can. It's really cool.
Okay.
Try that if you can find it. It's really good.
I'll definitely do that.
It says brewed with dried whole oranges.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It says gold medal at the Juicy or Hazy Pale Ale 2020 American Beer Festival.
Oh, cool. So this is like
Yeah.
new for them.
Yeah.
A new
No,
flavor.
it's really good. I remember seeing it like right around well, I guess maybe during pandemic. I don't know. I don't know. Like middle of pandemic. Who knows? Like,
Yeah. No, those 2 years are all kind of like a weird haze for me. It's like,
yeah. It's
I started
like
drinking a lot of wine during those last couple years.
yeah.
You know,
I think everybody did. I think everyone was like, you know what? Let's just let's
shake it
just
up a little bit. Let's try some wine.
yeah, let's just go straight to the point. Let's get there.
Hmm.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Um, all right, cool. Well, Jen, I appreciate you doing this episode about Blue Moon with me. Do you have anything
absolutely. I love
else
it.
to say about this one?
Uh, I think Blue Moon is smooth and delicious and sweet, but not too sweet, and highly recommend.
Highly
Even though it's my
recommend.
starter beer, it still is like my go-to. I love it.
Yeah. Well, it's a good one. It's a good starter. It's a good ender. Fuck it. If this is all you drink, then whatever. That's it's better than
It's
drinking
totally fine.
some other
You know
shit.
what they should have on their website? They should have that fish and chips. That's what this goes with. That's just
Hmm.
magical. Hmm.
I would agree. That would
Fish
be
and chips and a really tall like glass that they serve it in.
ooh
Yeah,
with the
that's what.
orange.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, anyways, thanks again, Jen, for coming on doing this. This is
Absolutely.
BFFs. This is Beer Friends Forever. If you like this, then go and check out all the other Quick Sixer stuff that we do. Um, maybe if B gets on this show with you, then she can bring back some Atlanta beers and we can do some shit with that. But,
Absolutely.
but anyways,
That'd be fun.
do you do you want anybody to follow you on the internet?
Oh, no, I'm good.
All right, don't follow Jen on the internet, but go and check out everything that we do. And yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah.